Welcome, everybody, to another edition of Elevate Your Game. I'm your host, Mrs. Denise Parker, and I am the Director of Internships and Careers for National College Resources Foundation, where we help support our young people from college, careers, and beyond. And this series that we have going on is all about landing dream jobs. It is an intro to a wonderful webinar workshop sessions that we're going to be hosting here on NCRF and also featured in our private webinar groups where you can join and register soon that you'll get the link for. I'm super excited for you. And it's an opportunity for you to learn professional skills, develop yourself, and also learn about things that you never thought about in landing your dream job. And to have this conversation go a little bit deeper, I have a friend of mine who's going to be featured at one of our expos, and she has started her career one way and ended somewhere totally different. And now she's living her dream. It is the sensational Miss Crystal Hurt. Come on to the stage, young lady.
Hello, thank you so much for having me.
Yes, look at you. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, doing good. I'm in LA, so trying to stay cool. How about you?
It's been hot and we're about to start our expo travel season and you're joining our expo travel a little bit here and there. So I'm super excited to have you come on to our show today and just talk about just you, who you are and what you did to become who you are. So you are not just one particular career, you have multiple things that you do. And living in LA is a good place to do that because you got to have more than one stream of income, right? Hello.
Definitely.
But tell us who you are, Crystal, and what do you do?
So, thank you so much for the introduction. My name is Crystal, and I am a entertainment paralegal. And I also have a YouTube channel where I, record, just lifestyle content, but I also record, YouTube like tips for anybody that wants to become a paralegal or that's interested in becoming a paralegal or, anything paralegal wise or career wise, I speak about on my YouTube channel.
I love it. I saw your YouTube channel and it was very, very, very interesting because it's not just you talking about becoming a paralegal, it's like living the lifestyle after you became a paralegal. Like, look what I can do now. It's showing like a whole like career life kind of journey. And that's what it is. How did you get into the role of paralegal?
So, originally, after I graduated from undergrad from Cal State Long Beach, I wanted to go to law school. But like a lot of people, they think law school is a lot of money, which it is. And so you really have to be certain about your decision. And I just wasn't 120% sure that that's what I want to dedicate my life to. So I started at just a law firm, just, as a file clerk, filing away documents in a file room while at the same time learning the legal field within itself. And from there, an attorney kind of just took me under his wing and he just noticed how professional and organized I was. And he suggested, hey, why don't you look into becoming a paralegal? I know I wanted to be in the legal field. I just knew that being an attorney was like a huge commitment for me. And coming out of undergrad, I just knew I wasn't ready for that. And in hindsight, all the, attorneys that I kind of speak to, I know it just solidified my decision in knowing like, I'm so glad that I did become a paralegal because I can actually wake up like every day and say, I love my job.
Love my job. Isn't that a good feeling to say that you love your job? It's a
Yeah.
great feeling. Look at her face, everybody. She's smiling. She got that glow. She's not sitting there like, I have to go to work tomorrow. Not every
Right.
day is, the dream because you deal with some challenging stuff. And most African American individuals who want to go into law that I talk to and on a daily basis, usually it's criminal justice, and they want to fight the good fight to save people who are improperly incarcerated, or they want to solve, murders, or they want to, be the person to, bring solutions to the community. And for our Latino brothers and sisters, I find when I talk to them about law, and they said they're going to be a lawyer, it's usually immigration law. And I find that very interesting because it's also related to the community that they live in and they represent. It's something that's very dear to their heart, protecting their family members, making sure they don't get deported. All the climate that's in politics now about, shipping people away or locking people out, or, closing borders. It's all, disheartening to hear when you hear young people say, I want to be an immigration lawyer to protect their family. And part of that is our bigger conversation. We don't know what it takes to be a lawyer. It's a long journey. You said you went to Long Beach State, and going into school, you were excited about going into law. And then what made that real connection of a turn? Like, what was it for you besides the money? Like, something had to click because you didn't give up on law in general. You just switched your profession and, you know.
Right, right, exactly. So me myself, I actually don't know, before becoming a paralegal, I didn't know anybody that was a paralegal. To be honest, I didn't even know what a paralegal was. I had to, when I first heard the word, I had to Google what is a paralegal. I had no idea that paralegals even existed. But I will say, while I was in undergrad at Cal State Long Beach, I was interning at the district attorney's office for the under the Golden State Killer case, which was really heavy. So I was able to see from a prosecutor's side, basically the criminal side, of things. And I wanted to go into criminal law. My major was criminology and criminal justice. So that was the thing that I wanted to do. But just being at the district attorney's office and just speaking with prosecutors every day and just kind of seeing how it impacted their lives, I knew that I wanted to be in the law because I had such a strong connection to the law, like interpreting the law. I loved it, doing research, I loved it. And just how different people can take different pieces of certain like court cases or things of the law and like apply it to so many different things just always intrigued me. So that's why when I came out of undergrad and I finished my intern, I started in a law firm because I just wanted to know the basics. What does a pleading and a discovery and a correspondence look like? And why are these documents different? And in doing that, I kind of, working with paralegals and attorneys side by side, I kind of saw, okay, this is more so what an attorney does, and this is more so what a paralegal does. So the first thing I say when people ask me what is a paralegal, I usually say kind of like a nurse to a doctor, because you're kind of prepping and assisting everything. You're not prescribing, the medication, but you're doing everything up to lead to that point, which is still a very important key role. And so, yeah, I hope that answered your question,
No,
but that.
no. What is a day in the life for a paralegal? If you're prepping for a case or you're prepping for a brief, so to speak, so that maybe the research is done, what's a day in the life for you to support the other lawyers that you service?
So right now, my day in the life is different from my day in the life maybe 3 years ago when I was at a litigation law firm, because I'm now in entertainment. So I'll more so, I guess, speak a little bit on litigation, but it can consist of anything from summarizing depositions, which are so important because depositions could be 30 to 60 pages long. When an attorney is prepping for a case, they're not going to go through all 30, 60 pages to find what they're looking for. You must go through it, summarize it, and imagine summarizing 30 pages into 2 pages, or a page and a half so an attorney can read it. So anything from that to subpoenaing records. It also depends on what type of law you're in. That's kind of like civil litigation, but I was also in lemon law. And so when I was in lemon law, we had to have vehicles be inspected and you know look up, other claims that plaintiffs have put in to see if they're a repeat offender, if they're always following lemon laws on their cars. So I would say it all kind of really depends in the area of law you're in. But for the most part, just to kind of summarize it or to generalize it in a way, I'd say that drafting contracts. So now I kind of do like NDAs or advertising agreements. So I typically do the first round of those contracts. And then the attorney will review it, and then I'll kind of go back to the client and make sure that we are capturing the contract to look as though exactly how our client negotiated the contract with the third party, if that makes sense. So it could be things like that, but I can go on because I've had so many different paralegal roles, and just the day to day has always depended.
And that's a great thing that your expertise has expanded. What has been some of your roadblocks in trying to navigate in your field? Like, we had a brief conversation, and you told me when you first got the opportunity to learn about being a paralegal, and then going into the task of becoming one, and then changing from one area of the law to another area, because being a lawyer, you don't just say I'm a lawyer. You have to
Right.
be very specific in the law that you're choosing, because you have to learn all the different rules and the laws for that particular field. What was it that you started in, which you said was, what was, criminology or
Um,
criminal justice?
yeah, kind of like the prosecutor's office at the DA.
Mm. And then you switch to becoming an entertainment lawyer. That's two totally different fields. And
Right.
how was that transition for you? Did you discover that did you have any setbacks?
I had a lot. I had a lot of setbacks. And at one point, I thought, okay, maybe this is a sign that I need to go to law school because I was having so many setbacks. My first setback was even just going to paralegal school. Just because, it's not law school doesn't mean it was free. You still had to kind of pay. So, and I didn't have the money. I was just coming out of undergrad with a whole bunch of debt. So I proposed it to the partners at my law firm that I was at. And I was like, hi, I know you've only known me for 60 days, but could you pay for this program for me, please? And so they were like, well, we've never done this before. And I was like, I totally understand. I just kind of explained to them how much I want to be an asset to the firm, and just kind of like really spoke up for myself. And they were like, I mean, it's most likely going to be a no, but I'll try. And they did. They took it to the partners. They had a meeting, and they came back to me and said, they said, yeah, so they'll pay for your entire paralegal program. And so that was huge because I was like, okay, this is like, the first step. So once I was a paralegal for a few years, I decided that litigation wasn't for me. And I wanted to kind of transition into entertainment. So that's when I found a recruiter. And I found a couple on LinkedIn. I found a couple through mutual friends that, were in my paralegal school with me. And every single recruiter I spoke to, I would tell them I want to go into entertainment. Every recruiter I spoke to said that's impossible. And I'm like, how is it impossible? Like, I'm a paralegal. I don't understand. I have a bachelor's degree. I have my paralegal certificate. And they were just saying like the transition from litigation to entertainment, like no one really does that. And so I had one recruiter actually stop working with me because she was like, basically, your goal is just not obtainable. And she felt like she was wasting her time. And so I respected it. I moved on to the next recruiter. And then I actually stopped working with the next recruiter because she kept giving me positions for litigation, and she would be like, oh, this is way more money than you'd make in entertainment. And then the biggest thing I got is since you have so many years in litigation, you're gonna have to take a huge pay cut to move into entertainment since you have no experience. And to me, that just didn't make sense because I had a lot of transferable skills that could relate to entertainment, and I just had to speak up for myself. So at one point, I just stopped working with all recruiters and every entertainment company's website I could find. I literally just went to their website, xyz.com, and saw if they were hiring and put in my application, shot them out. I probably shot out maybe like 4 a day because you never want to oversaturate yourself too much when applying to jobs. So yeah, and then one of probably the best entertainment companies got back to me, and after 6 rounds of interviews, they hired me. So that was a huge step.
Wow. Persistence. Crystal Hurt is hurting everybody with her persistence. She is not letting up. She got told, no, we don't do this. And then they came back with a yes. She was told no with her recruiters that she hired, because you have to hire a recruiter because they take a percentage of her
Yes.
percentage of what she gets as far as her front end pay. So I really, 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 really see the value in your story, because this is why I have her on. She's just not this beautiful face that has all this awesomeness going on. She's also a YouTuber, and she's sharing the gems. She is dropping the nuggets to her audience so they can actually hear from a familiar face, a face that kind of looks like a young person who's trying to navigate. Most time when you think about paralegals, you think about old and decrepit, right? I'm sorry. I
Yeah.
don't want to do some elder, shaming, but you just have this visualization. This person is working in here for decades, and now they look like they're run down, like these lawyers out here running around trying to save people. Um, but then when I think about the legal field, my favorite show is Suits. Like one of
Oh,
my favorite shows is Suits. And the person who was killing the game is, of course, the legal aid, the person who was helping, which was the paralegal. She was killing it, and she was told no so many times because she wasn't in Harvard. So, shout out to Meghan Markle, the princess,
it's so funny because I actually just started watching that show 2 months ago. I had never seen that show before until 2 months ago.
Yes, and I said princess, but she's more Duchess, but now they have advocate, all that good stuff. But it's all the goodness of discovering your journey and seeing it in real life. And we have a real life person who is living her dream. What can you say to young people who are trying to discover their next, especially in the area where you're in that field, you're in that industry? What can you say to them?
Um, I could say a lot, but I'll keep it short. I think the first thing I'd say is to not accept the first no that you're given. Um, it got to a point where I literally had to like pull out my notebook, and I still have the piece of paper, and I dated it. And on the top of the notebook, I wrote, I will get my dream job. And this was like before I even started applying to all of these entertainment companies. But I say all that to say to keep like faith in yourself. If anybody's going to believe in yourself, it's you. So the moment that you start doubting yourself, then that's when things aren't going to happen for you. So even though everyone else doubted me, I had to just like keep faith in myself. And I'm a Christian, so I have a religious relationship as well with God. So yeah, I would just say first things first is to just make sure that you are never doubting yourself. You never want to doubt yourself. You want to show others that, you're confident in yourself. And then another thing I'd say is to do research. I feel like a lot of people, or I don't want to say a lot, maybe most people don't really kind of do the groundwork, the digging, the research. And I think that's really important to do. I mean, it's easier than ever right now because we have the internet at our fingertips. So I would say, and doing the research, and then relying on others. It's okay if you can't get everything done on your own. It's okay to reach out to people for support and help, and then when you do and those people say no, you just move on to the next person. So I hope that answered. That'll be kind of like
That
my
is
biggest three to
amazing. So, how can people find you? Where can they find you on YouTube?
So on YouTube, my name is just my first name and my last name. So Crystal, Crystal, and my last name is Hurt, Hurt.
I love it. Keeping it simple, keeping it real, also landing her dream job. Crystal Hurt, you are amazing. I'm thankful and grateful to have met you, because you are also going to be able to mentor, even just in this time that you're speaking to the audience, and also in the future when you do our live in person audience, will just gravitate towards you, because a lot of people forget about roles that you do, supportive roles such as a paralegal. They are intricate part of the legal system. If we didn't have paralegals, I bet you a lot of people will be hurting in their cases because they probably wouldn't have time to do all the research. And
Right.
paralegals do a lot to make sure the jobs are well done. They hold up the arms of our lawyers. And a great paralegal is, it sounds like that's what you are. That's why you're able to talk about it so easily. And I love that. I love that you can do that. I want to make sure that you have an opportunity to share more and you have us as an opportunity to do that. And I know, Crystal, we've talked about it. You're going to be featured on some of our up and coming sessions about our professional development, how to land your dream job, not just talking about it, but actually being able to interact with young people more on that virtual. So you guys join our platform. Go to our website, thecollegeexpo.org, TheCollegeExpo.org, to find out more about how you can become, landing your dream job. You can find it on our under our programs, under internships and careers. Click on that button, find it, register, and then get to talk to more professionals just like Crystal in searching for their dream jobs. I am Miss Denise Parker. That was Crystal Hurt. Thank you for joining us once again for Elevate Your Game.
Hi, I'm Denise Parker, National College Resources Foundation Director of Internships and Careers. I'm super excited because we've been helping our students to get opportunities with our corporate partners and our sponsors to make sure they get internships and early career pipeline pathways into the jobs of their dreams. It's awesome because we're not just helping them with resume building and interview tips, but we're also helping them to figure out how their major is mixed into what they want to do in their passions for life. And it's finding a purpose. It's not just a job to build up skills, it's also to find their career journey. Not everybody knows what they want to do when they get older. Not everybody can figure it out along the way. It might take 20 years, it might take 15 years, it might take 5 years. But guess what? Our organization, NCRF, is here to help them, follow them through, to find that support that they need from the resources that we have from our wonderful corporate partners. And I'm here to advocate for you as an internship and careers director.